21-18, the Giants get their first win, and the Jackson Dart era off to a 1-0 start, coming against the previously undefeated Chargers, no less. The New York defense standing up, but Dart 13-20, 111 in command of the offense, but also some injury news to pass along in this one, as Malik Neighbors, the star wide receiver of the Giants, is believed to have had what we assume would be season-ending ACL injury. We will look to confirm that through our insider, Jonathan Jones, but it is a knee injury for Neighbors, who was out the entirety of the second half. Back in studio, do so much to dive into coming out of this one. Jackson Dart, obviously a headline on the marquee coming into this game. So let's start there. The numbers, they don't dazzle, but the aura, the moxie was
it was there.
Something that this team needed, and it looked like it bled over to that defensive side of the ball as well. How do you grade out Dart here in his first go?
For his first time rolling out there as a starter, I would give him probably a B+, right? Because he took care of the football, didn't turn it over. But the biggest thing for me, Moose, was he was pivotal on third down. He was really good as far as using his mobility in the first half. We saw a big-time completion to Theo Johnson late in the game to bleed off some more clock as well. And the thing that I really loved was that he didn't track backwards. He stepped up in the pocket. And people will talk about, well, he was kind of banged up because he kept running with the football. But I love the growth of him stepping up in the pocket and using his mobility to throw the ball down the field, and also use his mobility to pick up crucial first down. So I love what he did. You talked about his number one playmaker going down. That hurts a young rookie quarterback, because that's a guy that's your safety blanket. You can lean on him. And for a majority of the game, he didn't have him, and he was still able to squeak out this win versus the Chargers.
You take me where I want to go next here, because it's unfortunate to see. We're sitting with some Giants fans watching this game. The stadium, you could tell, too, had the air taken out of it after that Malik Neighbors injury. It's believed to be an ACL for the star wideout. You said it's going to affect the way that you develop Dart. Correct. What does this do to the offense? And also, you're well abreast to it. The turf at MetLife, once again, becoming a topic that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and again, you've heard players be very vocal about this, like take turf out of the NFL. And again, there is medical history or there's me last year. So just imagine not having that safety blanket, not having that guy where you can just throw a simple screenplay moves and he has the ability to take it 50, 60 yards, right? A simple stop route, 5 yards, and he can break a few tackles and take it the distance. So this is a major blow. Again, we don't know for sure what the injury is. We'll wait for the medical people to come out and diagnose that. But this is a tough blow for the New York Giants, and more specifically for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, early look is a non-contact knee. You saw as he left the ground there. It's going to limit what this offense can do, but you come away with your first win of the season if you're the New York Giants, and it comes against one of the best teams through 3 weeks in the NFL. Let's go on the Chargers here for a moment. What limited the offense in this one? It was obviously a stout defensive performance from New York, but where did you see differences in the way that the Chargers tried to attack?
To me, it came down to the Giants' defensive line living up to what we thought they were going to be for the entire season. Like the first couple of weeks, everybody was touting this defensive line, including me, as the best defensive line in football, but we hadn't seen it. Well, we saw Big Sexy Dexy with an interception early in this game. We saw Abdul Carter get a sack. We saw Brian Burns at the end of the game essentially come and close out the game with a sack. We saw Kayvon Thibodeau constantly get pressure. So to me, the defensive line really took over. But also, those young defensive backs played hard. Drew Phillips, he might be one of the best slot corners in football. He's played really well this year. Nobody's talking about him because the Giants have been losing games. But he had some big-time plays. That interception that really turned the game over. The Giants go on to score, take the lead, to extend the lead in that game. So I really love what the defensive line specifically did from the Giants, but I love what them young corners, how those young corners competed in the back end.
Coachable moments here for Coach Harbaugh, I'm sure, in a road loss against the Giants. Let's finish with a thought here on New York, because it's a fan base that's looking for something to celebrate. You have the hope of a young quarterback in Jackson Dart starting 1-0. You're going to want to see more. You're going to want to see the development, but I want you to write an open letter to Giants fans. Right? How should they feel after all that this day had?
I mean, the ebbs and flow of the NFL season were on full display for Giants fans today, right? Because you roll out your guy that is the future of your franchise. He gets you a big-time win on the national stage, and then you lose your top playmaker on offense. I would say this. you can live in solace knowing that you have your guy at quarterback. Now, again, it's only one game, Moose, but I love the way he played with poise. I think that's the biggest thing for a young quarterback, going out and playing with poise. He never seemed like he was under pressure. Even when there was pressure, he never seemed flustered out there. And again, I talked about the development and the growth of him stepping up in the pocket and not drifting backwards. You see so many young quarterbacks drift backwards, throw off their back foot. We didn't see any of that from Jackson Dart. Now, again, it hurts because he doesn't have his number one playmaker, but you have to love how your young quarterback went out there, competed, was banged up, clearly wasn't 100%, but continued to compete.
Dealing with a hamstring in the midst of this one, also was looked over by the independent neurologist for what was a knee to the head, came back in this game. He is a gamer. I know they are the intangibles, the unmeasurables, but Jackson Dart certainly has much of that, and he has his first career NFL victory. Get all the love, but it's the RB giving you something to love in this one.
No question.
Bijan, 50 rushing yards, 100 receiving yards, or more, obviously, in a single game in Falcons franchise history. First since 2001, as Bijan goes for 181 all-purpose. Back in studio, Joe Musso alongside Lige Douzable. And Duz, this is the type of stuff that we've come to expect out of Bijan, but that does not take away the amazement we should have for it, because there's expectation for a player and then there's exceeding it on all accounts. What do you make of the performance today?
Moose, he makes it look easy at times. You talked about an easy runner on the outside. I love Michael Penix understanding what the Commanders were doing defensively. Got some blitzes, right? You got one-on-one with Bobby Wagner. Your running back's going to win that 10 out of 10 times. Just put it out there. And it seems like he's jogging at times when he's out there on the field. But the thing that makes him different than every other running back is his ability to line up as a receiver. From the running back position, right? So that's a mismatch. You have to on defense, you have to, as a linebacker, you have to go out there, or a safety has to go out there one-on-one, and that's a mismatch that they're going to exploit if you're the Atlanta Falcons. So the way you're able, if you're Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator, to use his skill set, the versatility that he has, it opens up the entire offense, and that's why Drake London got going. That's why Kyle Pitts. And you talked about it, the combination of him and Tyler Algier. I know everybody talks about it, the Detroit combination up top with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, but let's not forget about that combination in Atlanta. That's one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL.
51 on the ground for Algier in this one, and a touchdown of his own, but the fluidity that he runs routes with, the route tree ability.
Frozen ropes on some out routes to Drake London. We saw Kyle Pitts get involved in the red zone. Then also finding your best playmaker on the field in Bijan Robinson in space in mismatches. I love that he was so decisive with the football. And then even showed a little bit of mobility. We were upstairs watching it Moose on a pivotal third down when the Commanders were trying to make a comeback. He's able to make a few defenders miss and pick up a crucial first down to bleed some more clock. So I love how the young man responded today.
20 of 26 for 313, 2 touchdowns, and as you said, some big plays and big moments. Not much to nitpick there for Penix, who bounces back off that 30-0 loss with a big offensive performance here in a win. A quick thought here on the Commanders, because we can't really deduce what they are or what they're going to be until the guy is back. But in his absence, we're still comparing this team to what they were a year ago in their makeup around what a quarterback's going to be. How do you compare the way they exceeded expectations last year and maybe the effort that they're meeting this year with?
And that's the thing, right? When you have those expectations and you supersede them, now the floor or the ceiling is risen, right? And now they don't have Jaden Daniels. He's not out there. Marcus Mariota was able to lead them to a victory. He tried to come back and lead them to victory today, but it's a lot different when Jaden Daniels is in there. Also, J.J. Watt brought up a great point. They didn't have Scary Terry McLaurin. When you don't have your number one receiver, it hurts. That means everybody else has to step up. We saw Debo make some big-time plays down the stretch, but they just needed more firepower the way this Atlanta Falcons offense played. They couldn't go blow for blow with them, and it's because they didn't have their top 2 playmakers on offense.
It's already an offense that's limited in its explosivity with Terry there. In his absence, even more so. It is a 34-27 victory here for the Atlanta Falcons at home, bouncing back. A look here at Michael Penix Jr.